Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro carded Scarlet Spider. Hello and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro card back wave. As in front of me today we have Ben Reilly, aka Scarlet Spider-Man. And yes, technically that whole assortment is supposed to be a 2024 release. However, I managed to get my hands on some import stock which I genuinely didn't think would arrive this soon, this side of Christmas. But here we are, so I'm happy to have it, as I am very excited about getting more of these Toy Biz tribute style card backs, and Ben Reilly is absolutely a character worthy of that, as he did make an appearance in the 90s animated show. So if that Toy Biz line had continued, then I have no doubts we would have seen this figure, but I'm very happy to see it now in the 6-inch line, because this design is quite hard to get in the Marvel Legends line. There has been two previous releases. First was in the 2015 Rhino Build-A-Figure wave, where Ben Reilly came with the two Rhino heads, and then we got a repaint of that version in a more metallic color scheme in the 2018 Avengers style card backs that came with the Ben Reilly head. But I do think when all is said and done, this figure here will end up being the best representation of the Scarlet Spider-Man for our Marvel Legends collection, as it is on the completely pinless Renew Your Vows Spider-Man body. It is just better proportioned. He comes with all the right hands. The only thing missing out of this box to make it perfect is that extra Ben Reilly head sculpt with the blonde hair. That would have been perfect, but it does look great on this Toy Biz tribute packaging. Shout out Harry Moore as always. I have genuinely created more space on my wall so I can keep displaying these. It looks great. But I'm going to open this one. So on the back of the box, we get that trademark stencil, as well as a write-up that reads, Peter Parker's clone and eventual ally, Ben Reilly returns to New York to defend the city as the web-slinging Scarlet Spider. So, as I said, if you're a fan of 90s Spider-Man and that whole clone saga, I have no doubts this is going to be highly anticipated. Let's get it open. Here we have Scarlet Spidey out of the packaging with all those interchangeable hands on the table. So as I said, 3 sets: fisted hands, wall crawling hands, and sweeping hands. In regards to accessories, as I've mentioned, just that Ben Reilly head would have made this ideal. I don't really need web effects, maybe an extra hooded piece so you could have the hood up, but I'll probably display it like this anyway. So I'm absolutely good with what we get here. Let me move these out the way. It is on the Renew Your Vows body, so we know what to expect. It's about 6.5 inches tall, which I'm absolutely fine with. So this figure is going to go great in your like 90s Spider-Man setup, a generic Spider-Verse setup, even your animated Spider-Man setup, or even New Warriors. Like, it is just a great representation of this character design in Marvel Legends form. I'm assuming it's going to move much better than the previous version. Proportionately, it already looks better than the previous versions. But I should mention, I don't have either of them for comparison today. I don't have the Rhino Wave version because I sold that when I brought the retro card version, the more metallic style. But then I never opened that on the card back, so I don't actually have one open. I know there's a Mayfex version as well. Shout out MCU Collector, as he's already done a review and he's done full comparisons of all of that. I'm just going to look at this in my own unique way. But before we do that, let's have a special word from our friends, our sponsors, Legendsverse. Let me introduce you to Legendsverse.com, a place all Marvel Legends collectors are going to want to know about. If you are looking for an easy way to keep track of your collection, what figures you have, and create wish lists, then Legendsverse can do all of this and so much more. It's a comprehensive Marvel Legends database that, once you have added your collection, gives you stats like how many figures you own, how many waves and builder figures you have completed, and how much your collection is worth right now. Organize your collection in teams, upload photos of each figure, look at price guides, and share your collection with friends by showcasing your own profile. Go and sign up and see for yourself. Legendsverse.com. If you collect Marvel Legends, you should absolutely check them out. Links in the description. Now, taking a closer look at Ben here, my first thoughts are everything looks very crisp and clean. Like those white eyes are sculpted onto the head sculpt and there's no blemishes or white paint outside the lines. It just looks very crisp and clean all the way around here. The head is on a sort of disc and hinge dumbbell. We've sort of seen how this works before, so we can get him looking up. You do get a little bit of gappage, but it still looks up pretty well. Now the hood is also sculpted onto the hoodie. So the hood is sculpted on here, so it sort of covers up that Spider-Man logo on the back, which again is very clean. But these white sort of drawstrings are a separate piece that you can see coming away from the body, and if you lift them up, it actually brings the hood piece up, so you can see how that's a separate piece glued on. That's why I think a hooded piece as an accessory would have been nice as well, but I like this neutral look. That spider logo is done in a more glossy black, which again is very clean across the chest, no blemishes, and I love how the hoodie has all these ripped sculpted lines going all the way up and around the shoulder. Obviously this is a softer rubbery piece over the body, but it does sit very natural. Scruffiness at the bottom as well is all intentional, like he's ripped his own hoodie himself. Honestly, it looks really, really nice. Then the actual figure itself is all red, of course, completely pinless, double jointed elbows, pinless double jointed knees. You've got the 2 wrist gauntlets on, and then this belt, which is done in a brown with these chrome cylinders, a little bit of red in the buckle. Then you've got the chrome gauntlets as well, and then down to the pouches on the ankles, which do have the paint on the buckles, which is a nice detail, so they didn't skip that either. So they are nicely done. I'm assuming all of this is removable if you start popping this figure apart, which I absolutely will not be doing. But you can see the sort of crunch there if I move the belt down, where you've got the crunch at the waist for that body. So hopefully you still get a nice range of articulation on this Spider-Man. And you know, when it's reuse of bodies, I don't usually go through articulation, but I know that's very important for Spider-Man figures. So let's take a look and see how it moves. So I know he comes with interchangeable hands, but before we get into that, I just wanted to see what the sort of range was like here. And it is what you would expect. The jacket being a little bit higher on the waist doesn't hinder the crunch too much at all, and you can still get him crunched down. Like, look at that, like the leg articulation helps with that, but you can get this guy into some very dynamic poses. I am absolutely sure of it. So yeah, you get a full range of the crunch down here. Maybe not a full, but I'd say 90%. You can see it starts to get stuck on the belt there, but you still get a great range at the crunch, forward and back. And as well, there is still that diaphragm ball joint under there as well. So that's where you're going to get your swivel. The swivel is about halfway up. So again, that jacket, that hoodie does not hinder any of this waist articulation, and you can still get him into some crazy dynamic poses. The butterfly joint is also there. Like, you can sort of see it behind the hoodie, so you can still get a decent range of that. Again, tiny bit limiting, but because it's a soft rubber, it will move out the way and allow you to articulate. Maybe more on the back than the front, but still a decent range. You get the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, hindered a tiny bit by the gauntlets, but again, that's expected. So great range up top. I've already showed you the heads on that sort of dumbbell with the gap at the back. The legs have the drop down hip, so we can drop that hip down. The legs go out decent. There's a thigh cut, double jointed, pinless knees. There's a boot cut, even though he's not wearing boots, which is good with me. Ankle pivot and rocker, and that toe articulation that people absolutely love. So great range on this figure, not really hindered by the hoodie as much as you would think. So again, I think when people start playing and posing with this, they're going to be very happy with its capabilities. So as I said, out of the box, you get the 1 set of fisted hands, but that is not all. You get a set of wall crawling hands and a set of swipping hands. And just to show you that when the hands pop off, you can of course take off that wrist gauntlet as well if you wanted to get full range of that elbow. And I couldn't help myself. I had to throw this guy into a couple of poses to see how he would move. And as you can see, it is a very fun, accurate representation of the Scarlet Spider-Man, which will undoubtedly pose up very nicely on your display. The only thing that hoodie overlay is restricting fully is maybe the articulation on the arms going forward. Otherwise, you get full range, and as you can see, it's fun and can pose easily. It looks great. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the two original Ben Reillys for comparison for today's video, but they were both on the Pizza Spider-Man body. So here we have two examples of that original Pizza Spider-Man book, with Pizza Spider-Man holding his pizza, of course, and then the symbiote Spider-Man as well, just to show you proportionally how the Renew Your Vows body is just bigger and bulkier. But that's not a negative. I do think Pizza Spider-Man was always a little bit too skinny, and Spider-Man and Peter Parker have always had quite an athletic body, so I actually prefer the proportions of this one, and it is just much nicer in general. It is genuinely a great looking, completely pinless legend. So if these two were the original two Ben Reillys, I'd be saying exactly the same, that this figure here is the best Ben Reilly we have in Marvel Legends form. I know it. If I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments, as I'm sure you will. But yeah, this is the best Ben Reilly we have. And of course, rightly so, everybody has their own preference and favourites. But I think universally the community agree that these two Spider-Man figures are the best available to us. It is the 60th anniversary, and then of course the Renew Your Vows body. So you can see that these two are at the same height, because this is the same of this figure with all the added pieces, including the hoodie, the gauntlets, the belt, and the ankle bracelet things. So yeah, you can see the articulation here. That's where the waist cut is, just there underneath the pecs. So that's where it will be on the hoodie as well. So you still get the range of that with the swivel. So it's all there. It's just you can't fully use the butterfly joint because of the hoodie. But otherwise, still great range, as you can see. Proportionally looks great. I definitely think this was the right choice rather than the 60th, as this is more of a modern era of Spider-Man. And of course, the Clone Saga was in the 90s. So it makes more sense for it to reuse this body rather than the 60th. Even if that's your favorite, I'm sure you could agree with at least that reasoning. So yeah, these are three great Spider-Man figures, potentially three of the best Spider-Man figures we have in Marvel Legends. Really, really nice looking, all completely pinless. Very happy collector. Now, of course, this Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider costume is his more iconic, but he has had upgrades and costume changes throughout time, and we've already got many of them in Marvel Legends form. However, I'm more of a Peter Parker OG guy, so a lot of those are in storage, but I do have a couple of my favourite alternative looks for Spider-Man here on the table, without a doubt, with the Iron Spider and the Spider Armor Mark 1. Honestly, these are three of my favourite Spider-Man Marvel Legends, full stop, period. These are great. Again, apologies for the lack of Ben Reilly comparisons, but this is the Ben Reilly I have been waiting for my collection. So I've got a couple of others with a Spider-Man UK repping, of course, and then Kane's Spider-Man. And like I said right at the start, Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider-Man did make an appearance in the 90s animated show, so you could absolutely put this into an animated display and it would make complete sense. So here we have Peter Parker and MJ next to Scarlet Spider-Man, and honestly, they look beautiful together. This would absolutely work. Continuing with that, here we have a couple of retro carded villains with Kingpin and Green Goblin from the VHS box. And of course, he would work in a generic comic display as well. And here we have a couple of villains with one of the best Venoms from the recent 3-pack. And then we have the Jackal, who was obviously a big part of that whole Clone Saga. And of course, Ben was an extended part of the New Warriors in the 90s, so here we have Night Thrasher and Speedball. And to save me from being here all day with comparisons, here we have some of the Who crew. But if there is something you want to see, please just DM me on Instagram and I'll send you a picture. Unfortunately, I don't have that unmasked Ben Reilly head, as I would have also liked to have seen it on this body. But we need an updated one with the digital face printing tech anyway. So here we have Frogman, Tigra, and Jocasta, who is reading out comments from the previous Marvel Legend review. Leave a comment on this video and she may pick yours to read out on the next one. Who have you picked today?
Private says, mine shipped from Amazon today. Same with Void Wave. Wasn't expecting either so soon.
And then last but absolutely never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro card, Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider-Man. And first things first, I apologise for the lack of actual Ben Reilly comparisons in this video, but honestly, I don't buy everything, and this is the one I have been waiting for in my collection. I've wanted a solid representation of Ben Reilly, and this is it. With all the advancements of Marvel Legends right now, honestly, apart from the missing head, I think this is a great Marvel Legends offering. on the glorious tribute to the Toy Biz packaging as well. So you can display one and put one on the display as well. That's exactly what I'll be doing. This is a great Marvel Legend with a great range of articulation, and it's fun, and that's what it should be as well. It reminds me of everything I loved about the 90s in Marvel, and he is here now for my collection. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. What would you do different? Is this one you are also looking forward to upgrading in your own collection? If you like Marvel Legends, you are absolutely in the right place. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button, hit all in the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Thank you once again to today's sponsor, which is Legendsverse. Honestly, check them out if you're into Marvel Legends, which if you're watching this, I'm sure you are. Links in the description. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. Come and find me on TikTok, and until then, I will of course see you on the next one.